Join us. I'm Jane with my friend Jane, the fabulous Janes from Main Jane Salon. We're diving into the world of all things beauty industry, tech, and fashion.
Bringing you beauty industry truth for both guest and professional.
This is where beauty meets brains and a touch of quirk. Get ready for candid conversations filled with hilarious stories, insightful advice, and a sprinkle of slightly painful honesty. So plug in, relax, and let's explore the Jane's world.
Hey, Jane.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
Good. How was your week?
Oh, it was very busy, just doing all the things. Caring for others primarily. You?
I feel like more or less the same. Great week, though.
A great week. That's beautiful. What a way to end our week together.
I know.
It's very sweet.
I love these meetings.
Oh, thank you.
In past episodes, we've talked about getting burned by relationships in the salon. But there's so many positives about working behind the chair and building those relationships, and you really become attached.
Oh. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I know I have several, and I know that you've had several, but yeah. Do you have any that stick out to you?
Well, I guess yes is the short answer, but to expand on that, because I like to be clear with being kind, and some of those personal relationships within the salon, I mean, I see and care for these people more than many of my other family members. If I see them every 2, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 5 weeks, like clockwork, I'm spending a lot of intimate time caring for them and allowing them that sweet space of safety in my chair. That they know.
I love that.
They do not have to do dishes when they see me. They do not need to explain to me that they, bought another Prada handbag. They don't need to feel any guilty feelers about that. And instead, we get to just share things with one another. And yes, I am proud to say that it's a safe space when they are with me. And one of my most defining relationships with the salon is a family that I had the privilege of caring for. It was a beautiful woman. And this is for my beauty industry friends, as well as those in my community as guests of the salon. This particular person, I was at the end of kind of a long day in which I didn't have very many appointments. This was many years ago. And I remember saying even to myself back then, I will stay till the end. I know that my shift has been not very busy, but I will stay until the end of my shift, being just committed to being a professional and working to build my career, and also to be here for my team throughout my whole shift. And at the very end of my shift, our front desk team member came to me and said, Jane, there's a woman here. She's just wondering if she can get a brow wax. And I was like, oh, absolutely. Anything to care for somebody else in the salon. Absolutely. And so I was introduced to Melanie. There she was. And Melanie was one of those women who you could just feel her presence. Very intelligent, attractive. You could feel her strength in her demeanor. She just had a bit of that powerful confidence about her. You didn't know what she did in the career world, but whatever it was, she was taking names and accomplishing things. And that is where our relationship began.
From a brow wax.
From a brow
wax. At the end of your shift, which most people would have been like, oh, heck no.
Many of our pros, maybe you can recognize this. They would not have held out to the end of their shift. Yeah. They would have just bailed. And I was very committed to growing a clientele. And so to me, part of that was staying for your entire shift and not ducking out early. And I do believe I was rewarded by meeting Melanie.
Oh.
Yes. I do believe sometimes social media can allow our imaginations to go wild. And so I do caution our listeners that this was just a very lovely, professional, and a very classy woman. And so she spoke very highly of her family and would share very personal things, but always with class.
So was Melanie a businesswoman, or what did she do?
Um, she was very accomplished in regards to her education.
Okay.
And she was accomplished in her own career, which seemed to be a bit of an entrepreneur of owning different businesses, not
Okay.
necessarily one industry. And her life partner, they had met in college and married and had a family. And together they then chose to build an incredible business that was global. And with the both of them, they were instrumental in growing this company well beyond the millions.
Oh.
Melanie and I had a beautiful self-care relationship for quite a few years there.
Mm-hmm.
And as my own personal life was growing and expanding, she was there. She was there for it. And what is interesting is I was expecting my baby number 4. And she and I were both excited about this new arrival coming in my life. And couldn't wait to see each other the next time, and had that bit of a joke, oh, I don't know if you're going to be here next time, one of those of, and unfortunately, Jane, this story is going to take a bit of a sad turn. And I did indeed have a beautiful new baby. And the person I wanted to make sure that knew that, I had texted and called them, and they were unavailable. And I found that to be very strange. And so as the days wore on, I was concerned that Melanie hadn't gotten my message. Before long, the weeks started to tick by. And I'm not quite sure how this next piece fit, but Melanie's partner suddenly called the salon. And I was told to call them back, in which I did. And her partner notified me that she had passed away several weeks prior, and that it was a very tragic accident, and which he also was incredibly wounded, and was also in recovery from these injuries. So I take that memory of her seriously. And I encourage any of our listeners that if they have those people in their lives that they do admire, I think that is such a gift, because when you see an accomplished woman treat others with such grace and confidence and just sharing, the world will tell you you should be guarded. You should don't extend too much, not too much. Mm-hmm. And yet Melanie reminds me to look into your pocket, and kindness never runs out. It's never wasted.
That. And what a way to honor Melanie too, and her memory.
I think the heart of
that
her
is beautiful.
Would be so touched, I think, to know that. I really do.
Oh, Jane, thank you for sharing that story about Melanie. That is a great one. And what a great message with that too.
Absolutely. So, listeners, if you know a Melanie, appreciate her. Let that be your excuse for being kind when you feel like you'd rather not. And at the same time, let's all be a Melanie. Let's all be a Melanie.
Cheers to being a Melanie.
Cheers. And if you have enjoyed today's episode about being kind, I encourage you to like, follow, share, and the Janes always love having a good chat. We're just a DM away. So until then, enjoy.